I can hear you. She's asking if I can hear her.
Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me now? I got we did a couple sound checks. If we have any issues tonight, it could be, I don't know. We got fiber optic here. We've got Starlink now, but
Oh,
I got we had a,
so sorry.
hey,
That
look,
was
she's
you.
playing the show live. Anyway, yeah, we don't need that reverberation going back through the feed here. So, yeah, be nice over there. Turn that thing off.
Shh. I'm
Anyway,
cold. I'm
yeah,
cold. I'm all discombobulated.
I know. What is it? The camera system and stuff has been glitching
Oh my gosh.
all day.
Yes.
We put up some new cameras and we turned some power off, or at least one of the breakers, so that I could hang up a new light at the front door. It's like a ceiling light at the front door entrance, which we never use. Everyone always comes through the garage into the mudroom. But anyway, put up a new light there because we had new soffit put in, new fascia, new roof, new siding, and I think what they're going to do the windows in the spring.
Mm-hmm.
So we got a lot of stuff that's being done. I spent a lot of time outside today, so if you see, look, I've been sitting out on the beach all day. Well, it's kind of the same effect. I am literally wind burnt. And it is so cold here right now. It was 14 degrees just inside our garage with the garage door closed. I don't even know what it is outside. What's it saying right now?
It
It's
is.
got to be 10 degrees or
Oh
less.
no. It was 6 earlier.
Oh, well, there you go.
When the boy was texting me.
Oh my goodness.
It was steady dropping. It's 7 right now. 7.
7 degrees here right now.
Wind chill -8.
Wind chills -8. So if you haven't got this yet, it's coming. And I don't know. We've seen varying reports that we're going to be getting the snow overnight tonight. Others are saying it starts tomorrow. All I can tell you is I don't want the snow. I just, and I definitely don't want ice. Ice is horrible. So I pray for the people down south. I hope you don't get it. If you're listening, some of my followers over on X, I know down in Alabama, Stormy, and a few other people, I truly hope and pray that you don't get this 1 inch of ice because that will be catastrophic. Just a very small percentage of ice can, do enough damage for power outages. We don't need 1 inch. That's going to be long term. People without power, people without a lot of things that might need it. So, especially the heat. Yeah, well, you want snow for another reason, but I don't want the snow because I don't make any money off of it. I actually lose money when it snows because our fleet can't get out there and safely drive, and I have to spend money on salt or make up my own brine and put it out so that it melts the ice away depending on the temperature. And if it's above a certain temperature, as you know, Randy, I can get away from the brine and I can move into the salt itself. So either way, I have to spend money and time to make these mixtures up and do all of that. So, yeah, ice does, it does suck. It's not good. So, all right, I see Karen's in here. I see RC's in here. He said Randy sucks, so I don't know what happened there, but Randy, apparently you suck. So I don't know. Beautiful dog, by the way. I will send you a picture of my German Shepherd, who has passed on some years ago. But I'll send you a couple pictures of him, RC. And I think when I see your puppy, I think of Blut. And yes, that was his name, Blut. He was actually trained in German and everything. Ewan Blut. For blood. But anyway, I will send you pictures of him and you will just be taken away. I'll guarantee it. Just a gorgeous, gorgeous German Shepherd. But anyway, yeah, I love your pup and I love those ears, man. Them things. Yeah, I always like it when they stand up and the one kind of just does this. It's just so cute and then they tilt their head. But German Shepherds are just, they're their own breed, obviously, but they're just something about them. They're very unique. And I love them, especially when they got that, the rumps down a little bit in the back where, their normal stance the way it should be. It just says so much about the breed. Is pretty cool. So, all right, everyone. Socialist Democrats. stuck on rinse and repeat. I believe it's a button that we should include, especially on our washers and well, we'll just say washers or dishwashers and clothes washers. We need a button that says rinse and repeat. Just hit it, and it's just going to keep doing the same thing over and over again. That way, we know we get all the dirt out. We know that we get all the soap, everything out, and it's rinsed really good, and it's ready to hit the dryer whenever you decide to pull it out. So here's the thing. It's very aggravating because I say this all the time, and Tammy and I have redundant conversations constantly in this house, no matter where we're at, no matter what we're doing. And it's like, I've said this 1,000 times in the past, no matter what we do, no matter how long it is before in between shows, it almost seems like deja vu. And the other night I thought of the movie, The Truman Show, where everything just seems like it's a different reality. It's just way out there. It's crazy. And yeah, if you guys think that the feed has dropped down, we're still showing that we're live and we still have an internet connection, but let us know. And it might be on your end as well. Could be on ours with this crazy weather going on. But anyway, as I was saying, things just never change. No one seems to learn. And I'm starting to believe that the Socialist Democrats, like the AOCs and the Jamie Raskins and others, I truly believe that they know what they're doing. Because how do you not know when you have spewed the same nonsense time and time again, and all you do is rinse and repeat? I mean, we're going back years now, and they're still talking about the same thing. So I was sitting here and I made a list. Like I said, I'm authentic. I take notes so that I don't forget because there's so much to say. But they're talking about cognitive issues now. Again, we've already been through this. It's already been disproven. It's been debunked when the man can go from talking 2 or 3 hours in a meeting of CEOs from around the world, and then he goes into a press conference and talks for another hour and 45 minutes. And then he has other important meetings that he goes into. He does this nonstop. And let's make no mistake about it. He was being interviewed in Davos, Switzerland the other day at the World Economic Forum. And the guy who was talking to him even said, I know you don't sleep much, but so it's not a secret. Everyone knows this guy has a gas tank that it runs on fumes, but it keeps going, or he just gets refueled in air like the planes do, the fighter jets and whatnot. This guy just nonstop. So they're talking about his cognitive issues. They're talking about the 25th Amendment right alongside with that. They're still calling him a racist, calling him a rapist, a felon, embarrassing us. He embarrasses the United States all the time. Tariffs won't work. Oh, but they are, and they have. And then they're also talking about, he's going to put boots on the ground in Venezuela and Greenland. Well, they made asses of themselves on that one too, didn't they? And I think we've already talked about impeachment. If I didn't mention that one, that's another one that's crossing their lips. So the list that I just said to you, I just read all of this, and there's more. Does this not sound familiar? How long ago was it when we were hearing these exact same things? He had 47 or 45 charges against him. He's a rapist. He's a convicted felon. And it got him nowhere. They lost the election. But yet here we are. We're still talking about this. So are they stupid? Or are they just playing dumb? I guess you're going to have to decide for yourselves. I really don't think that a lot of these people truly believe what they say. I think they say it because they think that it's going to help them in the midterms now, because this is a revamp. Again, the rinse and repeat revamp of all of the stupid things that got them in trouble in the past. And we're going to start hearing more about illegals. I don't know if you guys saw this or not, but New Yorkers if they're not livid after Mayor Zohran Mamdani announced illegal aliens will get universal taxpayer-funded childcare after everything they've been through. So check this out. I have a little clip here. If you haven't heard this yet, this blows me away. And what did I say to you at dinner about the New Yorkers who voted for him?
don't feel sorry for them.
You got what you asked for, and you deserve it. If you voted for this guy, you deserve everything you get in New York. Congratulations. Check this out.
Clearly, these are programs for every single New Yorker. These are not programs that are going to ask the immigration status of any one of the children. All of those children are New Yorkers. They should all be enrolled in pre-K and 3K, no matter where they were born or where they come from. And we are also proud to be a sanctuary city. What a sanctuary city means is that we have policies in place, policies that have existed for years in this city, that deny ICE agents access into schools, hospitals, city properties, or even the properties of city contractors, unless those ICE agents can present a judicial warrant signed by a judge. We know that the vast majority of the time, ICE agents are not presenting that kind of documentation. If they're presenting any documentation, it tends to be an administrative warrant, and oftentimes there isn't any documentation even provided. So we want to make clear the rights of every New Yorker that they have.
Okay, so he's promoting that all of the illegals should get your taxpayer dollars. Let me bump up my volume there so that I can hear myself a little bit better. It does help, actually. He wants to bump up all of that so that, well, that's too much, so that they get, don't laugh at me. I laugh at myself enough. But why should we be paying for these people? Why should we be paying for childcare in New York City for people who don't belong here? These same people are turning around and they're asking for more money, subsidies for Obamacare. Why do we need more money for Obamacare? Obamacare is a failure. It's been a failure from day one. We knew this was going to happen. They forced it upon us. The great Nancy Pelosi told us that, well, to find out what's in it, you have to vote for it. And that's what we did. That's what we got with the big omnibuses back then that I just despise. We shouldn't ever do that. They should all be single bills, period. Cut through all the red tape, keep it short and simple, stupid, and then get it passed. One item on each bill. I don't care that it takes more paper. Or if it takes more paper or more time, I don't care. It doesn't matter. Separate everything and make it right. But we need more money for Obamacare. And we have all of this fraud in California. We have all of the fraud in Minnesota. All of these different places, billions of dollars leaving our country. Our money. And yet, he's going to sit up there in New York and tell them he's supposed to be serving his constituents. Now, maybe the people who voted for him think that this is what they want. They don't mind giving up their tax dollars for people who don't belong here. And I guess if that's what you feel or you believe, you voted for him. And if you're okay with that, then okay, so be it. You're the one that's going to see the ramifications of what's going to transpire when you get to the end of this trail or the end of this road. It's not going to be good. You're going to see a lot of people leaving New York. You're going to see a lot of bad things happening in New York. And you're going to see a cluster of illegals coming into your city. And then what's going to happen then? Let's just say, throw a number out there. You have 100,000 illegals that you're going to be paying for. Well, when they find out they're going to be migrating to New York City, and then it might jump up to 300,000. And then whatever billions of dollars you're paying for the 100,000, now it's going to be the 300,000 or more, because they're going to go where the free ticket is. You're going to turn, all you're really saying is for a sanctuary city, a blue city, is it's a welfare state. Come and we will take care of you. We'll give you food. We'll give you water. It's almost like it's a biblical quote right out of the Bible. Come, all of you who are in need and sad and all this, and I'll take care of you. That's what he's telling. He's putting you in a welfare state. All of these illegals, and then the New Yorkers, the American people, the actual American citizens are the ones footing this bill. And as I said before, if you're okay with this, hey, go for it, people. Again, you got what you wanted. You got the AOCs and you got all of these, these far out, truly socialist. They admit it now that they're socialist. And you think it's going to stop here? You just let them get more traction and see what happens. It will not be a good ending. I guarantee it. So let me get this moron off of my out of my studio. Yeah, I saw that today before the show, and I thought I would drop that down in there because it was just too hard to pass up. So more rinse and repeat. Let's just get into it because there's just so much to cover, and we can't cover it all, obviously. Getting ready for this big what are they calling this the mother of all snowstorms or something? I don't know.
Is it biggin?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean, this time tomorrow we might be like under snow. We might be like an igloo in here or something. So maybe I shouldn't make fun of
it's
that.
cold enough out there.
Well, we'll talk about that. We already talked about the temperature, but like I said, I was out in it all day, and
It's going to take a while for the air to get saturated though, because right now the dew point is -17. There ain't no moisture out there.
No, it's coming though. It's coming. All right. Got a clip here from Representative Dave Min out of California, Democrat, obviously, just opposed holding Bill and Hillary Clinton in contempt for violating a subpoena because bringing criminal charges against a former president is too serious for our country. Yep, he did say that with a straight face. Check this out. And what does that remind you of?
And again, while I think that the Clintons should be here, what we're proposing here is a very serious matter, bringing criminal charges against a former president of the United States. And I listened to you very carefully, Chair Comer, for the last hour, and I heard you describe them as delaying, as dragging their feet, negotiating for 5 months. But I never once heard you say they just outright refused to comply with the subpoena. And dragging your feet is not the same as noncompliance. It's not the same as contempt.
I can't help myself. I truly, I have to confess something. First, let me say this about what he just said. He literally said that with a straight face. This guy, like I said before at the beginning of the show, they're either flat out stupid or they just play dumb because they want to play into the hands of their base, their constituents. I don't know. But does Steve Bannon ring a bell? Rudy Giuliani, Roger Stone, Peter Navarro, General Flynn, Don Jr., Eric Trump. Did any of these people walk away and not go when they were subpoenaed and asked to come in and talk and answer questions? No, they all showed up. The Trump boys, they never got messed with, but everyone else lost a lot of money. They lost all of their savings. Some even went to jail. And they didn't deny the subpoenas or tried to avoid them. They stood up like men and they went, and they got railroaded for nothing because they didn't do anything. But yet he's going to sit there and say, well, we can't do this to a former president. That's too serious for our country. But yet you guys tried to do it to President Trump. This is what we're dealing with, people. Rinse and repeat. They keep doing this stuff over and over, but yet we have, I don't know how many millions of people in this country keep voting for these morons. And it's not just California. It's not just Massachusetts. It's not just, Chicago, Illinois, Minnesota. There's little blue patches. I mean, just little dots all over this, every state in this great country. These people vote for this nonsense. And I don't understand how, I don't understand how you can fall for any of this.
So when you don't comply with the law now, it's called dragging your feet.
Yes.
So when you get pulled over by a cop and you hem and haw and you don't produce your license or your registration or your insurance and you don't roll down your window and you don't comply with anything the officer says and he breaks your window and yanks you out,
yeah,
you've got a perfectly good case to say, well, I was just dragging my feet, officer. Congress says I can do that.
You just made me think of something. I'm showing my age here, but if I was a cop and I pulled somebody over and they played that stupidity with me, I'd go, okay, Flintstones. I'd say, Fred Flintstone, dragging your feet. Are you a Flintstone? Remember that?
I love the
Yabba dabba
Flintstones.
doo. Yeah. Oh my goodness. That's what I would say. I said, are you Fred Flintstone? Can I see your ID, please? You're dragging your feet while you're driving.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, you're such a comedian. I know. But yeah, it's ridiculous. And it's do as I say, not as I do. type stuff and vice versa. But these people really want you to believe that they believe this stuff. I just can't believe that there's that many morons. I know there's a couple up there in Washington, D.C., but they're hood rats is what I call them. They literally are hood rats. They could care less. They're worthless. They're there just to make a name for themselves and to try to make some money. And we're going to see a lot of those end up losing their seats, which, you know, Jasmine Crockett, and which we have a clip of her as well. But we got a lot of these socialist morons. They're truly idiots that spew all of this rinse and repeat stuff. And speaking of that, this guy here, Ted Lieu, he's actually facing calls to resign after he demanded leftists continue harassing and stalking ICE agents to obtain evidence for criminal prosecution. It's demented, it's evil, it's sick that these people would find this to be most important out of all the things we have going on in society, in the world today. And after all the things that Donald Trump has done for the country and for all people, not just white people, not just black people, not just Hispanic people, not just Asian people, for all Americans. And in many cases, he's doing it for the foreigners too. He's helping Venezuela out, getting rid of that dictator. And he's trying to help out Greenland. Not only are we going to be building this golden dome, I think Greg Gutfeld was trying to make it like a golden shower the other day when he was watching the Five. He kept kind of insinuating that golden shower. That's disgusting. But regardless, we end up putting something like that, a defense dome out there that's going to protect us from Russia and them as well. Then they're benefiting from this. So we're doing a lot for the world, and the world doesn't appreciate it because the world's not doing it, just like many of the politicians in our own country. The Socialist Democrats, why don't they ever give Trump credit for anything that he does? Well, we already know why. Because they don't have the intestinal fortitude that this guy has, and they won't stand up for what they believe, and they won't fight for what they believe. What they're going to do is say, I'm sorry, you want to cut your junk off, and you want taxpayers to pay for your transgender operation. Okay, I'll take care of that. We'll make it okay here in our sanctuary city. You come on in, we'll take care of you. Instead of saying, what in the hell is wrong with you? Why would you want to cut your junk off, dude? No, you're not getting that. And I'm not paying for it. I'm not going to ask the American taxpayers to pay for you because you want to cut your junk off. Or you want to act like you're a woman and you want to dress like one, and then you want to go into their bathroom. That's the problem that the socialists have. The left in this country don't have the balls to stand up and say, no, you're not going to. And that's why their kids are the same way, because they don't have what it takes. They don't have the cojones to say, no, you're not doing that. It's not going to happen. You want to throw your little hissy fit and you want to stomp your foot, throw your tantrum, go ahead. It's not going to work. That's the problem that we have in this country right now. But anyway, check out Ted Lieu. This guy he's one of those guys, every time I see him, I just want to smack him upside his face and say, knock it off. That's stupid.
American people have the First Amendment right to observe ICE operations. The American people have the First Amendment right to peacefully photograph ICE operations. The American people have the First Amendment right to peacefully film and live stream ICE operations. Donald Trump has sent ICE across the country to try to intimidate people and communities in various states, and the people of Minnesota said, no, we're not going to take it. We will not yield. We will not bend the knee. And every time ICE engages in what appears to be abuse, more Minnesotans show up. Every time ICE and Border Patrol engage in what appear to be unlawful actions, more Minnesotans show up and observe, film, and live stream ICE. And this is so important because the evidence that is being gathered can be used in future years. And while this administration might not prosecute ICE officers or Border Patrol officers for violating federal law, a future administration can do so. The statute of limitations for most federal crimes is 5 years.
Okay, so again, we're talking about the socialist nut jobs in our country that are destroying our country from within. These are the kind of people that I'm talking about. I don't care if they're Democrat, Republican. I don't care what party affiliation you have. When you start talking like that, you're lying to the American people, you're lying to yourself, and it's gaslighting. Because if you noticed when he said more people are going to show up in Minneapolis every time it appears that they've done something wrong. He was being very careful with his choice of words.
Mm-hmm.
Appears that they've done something wrong. But it's okay to keep showing up. And you notice he started off by saying peacefully protesting. And they have the right to record or, take video or pictures or whatever. Yes, they do. I agree, Ted. You are absolutely correct. But you're not telling what they're actually doing by putting their hands on the federal officers, or if they're impeding their search for someone or whatever it is. Now that's where it's coming into focus, that you're trying to make it sound like they're up there doing all of this nefarious stuff when they're just doing their jobs. You're causing the chaos by the way you're talking, by the way Tim Walz is talking, and Jacob Fry and all of these other people up in Minnesota. They should be ashamed of themselves. I don't know how anyone from either party, and you'll hear me say this a lot, I don't care if it's Republicans that do something stupid or if it's Democrats, Libertarians, Independents. I don't care. The bottom line is you're a human being and you did something stupid. But if you're any politician that's up in Washington, D.C. to serve any district, I said this a couple shows ago, you're up there to serve we the people. You're a servant, not a leader. Okay? A servant. Leaders usually figure out what's best for the country or their people. And, like maybe King David back in the biblical days, Solomon. We're talking about people who can make good decisions for their people, and they would do what was best for the people. We don't have anybody like that anymore that can do what's best for the people because they're self-serving. They always do what's best for them. What's going to make me the most money? What's going to make this, my career go longer? It's always about them. It's called self-servant. And that's why we're in the position that we're in. And these people could care less about you. I said this on the very last show, with all of you protesters out there, especially those three, and I'm sure there's going to be more that went into the church in Minnesota. That idiot, he stood there like some Billy Jack badass. Come after me, Pam Bondi. Come do this, come do that. And I'm like, dude, what is wrong with you? And what did I say to you at the dinner table the other night? Me, her, and the kids are talking. And I said, you know what the saddest part about this is? I don't even, is it Williams or something? I forget what his last name was. I don't even know the guy's name. But anyway, you all know who I'm talking about. I said, all of his hatred and his anger, it got him in trouble, and it's going to break him, because now he's going to have a felony charge. He's going to have to get a lawyer, and this is going to cost him. And I'm pretty sure he's got a wife and kids. And even if he doesn't, it's going to cost him dearly. It's going to probably lose everything he has, if not get jail time, federal penitentiary. Or if he does have a wife and kids, guess what? Tammy said something to the effect, well, she's probably going to be mad and up and leave. And I go, no. If he's doing this kind of stuff, she probably thinks just like he does. It's not going to bother her. She's going to be mad at the government because her idiot husband went out and did something stupid and got himself locked up. And now he's got a felony charge because he thought he was Billy Badass. Instead of just handling things the right way. If you don't agree with a policy or something, then speak out, email, make phone calls to your representatives, do whatever it is that you need to do, but don't go out and start challenging people and calling them names and acting stupid and then going into their place of worship and interrupting everything. I mean, they look like a bunch of demons in there. I mean, who does that? Who walks into a church and says, I'm going to disrupt it? Just because one of the pastors there is a law enforcement officer and he's a pastor. Well, I'm listening to these people talk like that, and I'm like, so you're telling me because if someone's a cop, they can't be a Christian? Or if someone's a cop, you can't lead a church? That's very interesting. I didn't know that was a thing. I had no idea. So I guess under the way you think, that nobody who's gay or transgender, because transgender isn't even a thing, but if you say that you're any of these things, then I don't think you're fit to serve the people. So maybe Tim McBride, we should get him out of office because he portrays himself as a woman. None of you people can hold the positions. All the Muslim people up there that believe in, want to come here and destroy our country, that you're in our government because you don't agree with Christianity. I don't think you're fit to hold your office because you don't share my values. I mean, we could go on and on about this stuff, but these are the crazy times that we're living in. And as long as these people like Ted Lieu, AOC, Jasmine Crockett, Jimmy Raskin, all of these nut jobs, I mean, to me, they're dirty people. They're disgusting. And everyone should pray for these people and hope that they see the light somehow, some way, the seed gets planted. But man, this is a long shot, truly a long shot. All right. So here's Jasmine Crockett. Now, I went through the list of all the rinse and repeat things that they're coming back with now. Cognitive issues, 25th Amendment, all of that stuff. Okay. Check out AOC. This is a little bit long, about 1 minute and 47 seconds, but she's having a meltdown. And she's talking about the media and how they went after Biden, but they ignore Trump's alarming behavior. Can you believe this? Check it out.
Real quick, how big of a factor is Donald Trump's cognitive decline, given what we're seeing at Davos?
I think that the president has been acting in increasingly erratic ways. I think it is really damning when we think about the degree to which mass media outlets reported on Joe Biden, and that resulted in the Democratic Party changing its nominee, etc. Yet we are seeing behavior from Donald Trump that is increasingly erratic and alarming, and everyone's pretending that this is normal. I don't really understand why that is. It is very bizarre. But then, importantly, I think that for our European partners and for our global partners, I think what they also see is the result of not just one man, right? But also the entire government apparatus and a party that is willing to watch someone decompensate in front of the world and do nothing about it. I don't know what's going on, but I find that the standard, it would be helpful if we could apply an even standard here and far more, a fraction of the reporting that was dedicated, a year or two ago to see that applied right now.
Got it. Thank you.
All right. The first thing that I noticed about from start to finish, I watched her body language. I watched her eyes. I listened to what she said. She was searching for something to say. And then she was throwing it out there. There was nothing there. It was she must have been, or might as well have been Kamala Harris, to be quite honest, because that was a word salad. And everything that we knew about Joe Biden, the media didn't even cover. They hid it. She lied about it. And so many others lied about it. But now she wants to talk about what he might be doing over in Davos that might be embarrassing us. Well, let me show you something. This is what embarrassing the United States of America and yourself truly looks like.
I can't take this complicity. People rolling over. I should have brought a bunch of knee pads for all the world leaders. I mean, handing out crowns and this is pathetic. Nobel Prizes, they are being given away. I mean, it's just pathetic. And I hope people understand how pathetic they look on the world stage. I mean, at least from an American perspective, it's embarrassing. It's time to buck up. It's time to get serious and stop being complicit. It's time to stand tall and firm, have a backbone. I've seen this in the United States, the supine Congress playing both sides, saying one thing on a text or a tweet and another publicly. It's time to have principle. It's time to stand tall and strong.
Does that mean
It's time to stand united. You make that determination. I don't make that determination.
When you say standing
collectively,
what
this is diplomacy with Donald Trump. He's a T-Rex. You mate with him or he devours you. One or the other.
And
I mean, people need to stand, but no, the Europeans could be if they continue down this path and process. They need to stand tall, stand firm, stand united. Look, this a year ago we should have been having this conversation, and they didn't. Okay, and now you're paying the price. Exactly what any one objective observer would have anticipated we'd be where we are today.
But yet, everyone was running to the first camera they could find. All of the Democrats and even some of the loser rhino Republicans were saying, oh my gosh, he's going to put boots on the ground, or he's going to take Greenland by force. He's going to do this and he's going to do that. And it's just going to ruin everything in Greenland and Europe as well. And guess what? He walked away with an agreement. It's not costing us anything. Nothing whatsoever. And we have free access to the whole island, the whole ice block. Wait, let's just call it an ice block. Greenland should be renamed Ice Block. What did they say? Like 55 miles? It's really thick ice. I know it's got to be, I don't know, 55 miles, whatever it is. It's nothing but an ice block. It's all ice. And we're going to put that golden shower, as Greg Gutfeld wanted to keep calling it, but the Golden Dome, which is going to be very similar to the Iron Dome that Israel has. That's exactly what he's wanting to do. And guess what? He's going to be able to do it. That's going to cost us some money. It really is. But that's what they're mad about. This is what Gavin Newsom, as President Trump so eloquently calls him, this is what he's mad about, because Trump gets it done. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say I've never said this. I've always, been very forward about it. I wish Trump would say things a lot different a lot of times, but it's the end result. And I know I was talking to my friend on X the other day, going back and forth, Stormy down in Alabama, and I said, it's not the words that I pay attention to as much for depending on what I'm looking for. I want to see the end result. I want to see the actions. And if you listen to Trump, sometimes you're like, what in the world? But then you see the end result and you're like, you could have not said probably 3/4 of what you said leading up to Greenland. And guess what? You walked away a winner. But bravo, because it's what's best for the United States of America. And we're going to get into that a little bit. But one more short snippet here from Gavin Newsom. And this is what's even more embarrassing, that he kind of mentioned knee pads for all of the leaders of Europe. Well, why would you need knee pads? That was an insinuation of a sex act. Who talks about that at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, on a world stage in front of all these European leaders? You're sitting there saying that, well, Donald Trump is, bullying himself around and you're all just bowing, getting down on your knees. You need knee pads because you're giving in to him. But yet, man, look what you're doing and look what you're talking about. Look what you're doing to yourself. And you're talking about them, that they should be embarrassed? No, dude, you should be embarrassed, because why did you even bring that up? Why should that even be entered into the discussion? It wouldn't have been much more effective to say, I think the way Donald Trump is handling things is more like bullying, or I don't agree with what's going on, as opposed to, oh, we need to get knee pads. And, he's like a T-Rex. If you don't mate with him, he's going to eat you. Oh my gosh. Who comes up with this stuff? It's just flat out sickening. But here's a little short 30-second clip, which just further shows you that this man should never, ever be anywhere near the White House, ever, because he'll be a younger version of Joe Biden. I guarantee it. The sickness will run rampant through the White House again.
You're running around distributing knee pads to CEOs, and I think it does.
Handing them out,
and it does.
I do have a few, if you'd like. I don't know.
And honestly, it sounds.
By the way, I'm not kidding. They're the new Trump signature series knee pads. Yeah, and they are available online. I told you the last one sold out. And I just want to sort of.
This
is a serious moment. It actually. But we laugh. Anyway, these are available and in bulk, too.
But I want to read you a couple of things the U.S. government.
Yeah, that was funny. Real funny. Real funny. All right, so we're gonna jump here to something that is very, very important. And I know probably most of you are aware of this by now because you're informed. You watch other podcasts, you watch shows, you watch the news, you get your news from reliable sources. And if you see some of this stuff on X, I happened to watch it live when it happened, and I started searching for it immediately because it was the part of Bill Hemmer. Him and Dana Perino do an early morning show, and he broke down why Greenland was so important. And I can guarantee you that there are still to this day millions of Americans who still don't understand this. They know nothing about this. All they know is what they've been told, that Donald Trump is going to forcefully take a small country of good people that don't want this. Again, Trump did say some things, I'm not going to deny that made people who are stupid, who can't read between the lines and decipher and sift through all the nonsense and get to what is he really after. All he wants is the deal. He wants something that's going to give him the opportunity to take care of Europe and to take care of the United States of America first and foremost. And for all of you socialist morons out there who keep saying, oh, Europe, they're giving in to the Americans. You know what? You're also backing NATO over America. If it wasn't for the United States of America, NATO, you think NATO's going to take care of Europe? Don't fool yourselves. That's not going to happen. NATO got away with years and years of not putting money into the group. A long time they got away with it. And along comes Donald Trump and he changes all that. Oh, they didn't like that. But guess what? Now they're all paying and they're all doing their part. And then you think that France and Germany and all these little countries that were sending these couple little groups of troops over to Greenland because they thought Trump was going to do some kind of military exercise or, do something to him to take them over. It was a joke. You people can't even defend your own selves, but yet you're going to sit there and talk bad about America. America is doing you a favor and you're too stupid to realize it. That is the truth. So, as I said before, Bill Hemmer broke this down. Perfect. I love it. And if you haven't seen this, it's a long one, 3 minutes long, but it's well worth it, America. If you don't understand this, now you're going to understand it. And it's going to make sense to you what Trump has been trying to do this whole time. Check it out.
Going to show you a number of maps here to give you a bit of a history lesson and also what the president's talking about, what the European powers are talking about. Remember, our show, America's Newsroom, almost 2 years ago, we went well above the Arctic Circle into an area north of Alaska. Here's Greenland right off the coast of Canada. We were over here in the Beaufort Sea with the U.S. Navy. As you see on the map, Greenland's a lot closer to North America than it is to our European partners in NATO. Over here, the size of Greenland. Brazil is 3.2 million square miles. Massive country, but Greenland is the largest island in the world at 836,000 square miles. Relative to California, it's much larger, with California at 163,000 miles, if you're able to put that into your mind. Come over here. I'm just going to show you a few things here. I know there's a lot of moving parts on this map. Think about two things right now when I talk about this. This is Russia, right? Every red dot is a Russian Arctic base. Every green dot is a NATO Arctic base, primarily U.S. here, and a few with NATO and the U.S. in Greenland. The early warning system, it lines the northern part of Canada. Now, what the Russian submarines and the Russian Navy has done, and by the way, the Russians, they lead the world in icebreakers. They have nuclear-powered icebreakers, which means if they're at sea and they want to stay afloat and out on sea, they can do that because they're powered with nuclear power behind them. The United States is well behind on this effort, trying to catch up. Why would you need a nuclear-powered icebreaker? This is the Northwest Passage. That's what we use. It's tricky, right? But when it gets frozen when it gets frozen for most of the year and it thaws a little bit in July, a little bit more in August, and some in mid-September. You can transit through this area. But what the Russian submarines have been doing for quite some time, you see the gap noted here and the Bear Gap here? That goes between Greenland and Iceland. It goes between Iceland and the UK. And this is what the NATO powers are worried about with regard to Russia and the growing influence of China in the Arctic region. Here's another map for you, all right? Washington, D.C. to the capital city of Nuuk in Greenland, 2,000 miles. Moscow in Russia to the capital city of Greenland, 2,000 miles. Denmark somewhat closer at 1,800 miles, just to give you a sense of relativity. See all these lines on the map over here? If you were to get into a conflict with Russia and China, intercontinental ballistic missiles would not travel this way around the world, or even this way. The shortest distance between two lines, right? It's a straight line between two places, and Greenland sits between Moscow and Russia, perhaps Beijing and China, and this is what the president's been emphasizing. You need that area, he argues, in order to put your future space golden dome in Greenland to prevent the threat of Russia and eventually China, perhaps.
There you go. And see, this is also going to tie in with the new space program that he came up with. So there's a lot of moving parts here. And when you see what Himmer did there, and he broke it down, and that was another thing that I failed to mention. This Mark Carney from Canada, he's out there yapping and talking smack all about Donald Trump. And Trump just basically come out and told him, yeah, it was in front of the world. But guess what? He deserved it. You should be careful what you say there, Mr. Carney, because if it wasn't for us, you wouldn't be what you are today. Canada can't even defend themselves. So again, Himmer, if you notice, he said it goes right down the northern coast of Canada, that line. And guess what? That's going to protect Canada too. And as I said, going into this little segment here, was that not only is Trump doing so much for the United States of America and all Americans, that half of the country, or whatever it is, the percentage, they hate this man and they don't even know why. You know what? Because foreign policy, they were talking about this today on the 5, and they're absolutely correct. Foreign policy is on nobody's minds when they go to vote, whether it's midterm or during the elections. For the most part, most of the people don't vote for foreign policy. They vote for something that is more near and dear to them, like what they're paying at the gas pump, at the grocery stores, economy stuff. That is what they're really going for. Or if it's a knee-jerk type of thing, like, oh, well, I think all transgender people that really don't exist, but they still keep calling them that they should be able to get these operations at a very young age, and before they even hit puberty, and all of these things. So I don't know, people. All I can tell you is that Donald Trump is doing so much for you. You don't realize it. You don't appreciate it because you're too tied up. You got your head stuck up your own arse. And that is the main problem. You got to get away from all these people that are in your left ear and in your right ear. You don't have an angel on one shoulder and a devil on the other, or a demon. You got two demons, one on each shoulder, and they're both telling you different things that are going to get you in trouble and make you say stupid things and do stupid things because you can't think for yourself and you can't critically think about anything. And I hate to say this, but this is the truth. Most Americans who are out there protesting and yapping about all this other stuff that they know nothing about, you're lazy. Yeah, I know they're out there protesting. How can they be lazy? They're lazy. They're lazy with their minds. They're lazy with their hearts. They're lazy with research, and they never verify anything. They cannot verify anything because if they got to the point where they could research and think for themselves and quit listening to all these evil things that are coming in, from both sides, they would realize that, wow, I don't even know half of what's going on. Not only is he trying to make affordability a thing here in the country and reverse, drugs, what you pay for certain drugs and stuff if you need it for high blood pressure or whatever, food prices, trying to get corporations to come back, big companies to come back to the United States to do chips. And that's another thing with Greenland is the rare earth minerals. We have to have all of this stuff. We've talked about this on past shows. What do you think they're doing in Africa and other places? They're digging in the ground, pulling up all the stuff that they need for electric vehicles and for electric batteries to run the electric vehicles, the EVs. You need certain stuff to make chips, to go into the computer systems, AI, all of the stuff, and I'm not, saying that it's a good thing, but I'm just telling you the facts. Whether we like it or not, we're going in the direction of artificial intelligence. It's here. It's the future. And it's not going to be a good one. I'm just saying, but we still have to do these things. So Trump is doing it for all of these reasons. And again, as I said, people don't even understand what is going on, but they still hate the guy. Well, why do you hate him? Well, I don't know. It's because he's a racist and a felon and well, show me the facts. Well, he's got 47 counts against him. He's a felon. Okay, well, did anything stick? Can you prove that it wasn't nefarious stuff? I mean, you do realize you can indict a ham sandwich, right? So when you get a grand jury, you can just throw a ham sandwich up there and say, guilty. I mean, it's so much deeper, people. You have to think for yourselves. And if you can't, then you're just going to be that stupid moron that is just too lazy to find out the truth on your own. It doesn't take much. It truly doesn't. Anyway, all right. So I wanted to play that with Bill Hemmer. That was one of the best breakdowns I've seen of that. So if you didn't know that, well, like I said, I'm sure most of you did. You get a little bit more information. And even Bill didn't touch on all the things that are going to benefit the United States of America with this. Okay. So again, when it comes to nuclear power, or there could be some kind of, a confrontation in the future between the countries, we have to stand up against Russia. We have to let Russia know that, if it was just a straight up war with the United States military against Russia's military, there wouldn't be a war. We could just run them right over and just take over all of Europe, to be quite frank. But when it comes to the nuclear power and how many warheads they have, that's what we're talking about here. So you have to decipher that as well. We're not talking about just a fist fight here. Nobody brings a knife, nobody brings a gun or chains or anything. It's just a straight up fist fight. And first one that cries uncle, it's over. You lose. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about, we're going to have a fist fight. Okay, cool. Let's do it. And you start, throwing knuckles, and the next thing you know, a gun comes out and boom. Yeah, somebody didn't like what happened to them, and they took it a step further. That's what we're talking about. Russia could do that. China could do that. And we want to be able to intercept those warheads, those ballistic missiles, before they ever get into our airspace or even hit Greenland for that matter. We'd like to knock them down over the oceans or the seas. So that's what that's all about. Again, if you're not educated enough to take the time to do all of this, then again, I can't help you. Very small show here. We tried to share with you as much as we can as far as what's going on out there, the truth. I give you my personal views. That's why it's called Lou's Views. These are my views. This is how I see life. I might not see the life the same way you do, but this is how I see it. I'm just a everyday average person. I mean, if you truly think that you have to go watch a podcast that's going to break every political move down, detail by detail, tell you how each branch of the government works. You don't have to know all of that stuff to know when you're being led astray, led to the slaughter. You don't have to be that type of person. The average everyday Joe, just like the 12 disciples, they all had their special gifts. Some of them kind of, they weren't maybe handsome. They were ugly. They didn't speak well, but they were chosen for a reason. And that's all I'm saying is you don't need these big name people to tell you what you can see with your own eyes and what you can hear with your own ears. That's what you need to focus on. Forget all the mumbo jumbo words. Focus on the end result. And that's what Donald Trump is doing for us. So we're going to get back here real quick to Jasmine Crockett. She says that the Dems always try to follow the law. Check this out. Yeah, the Dems. Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
Always try to follow the law and are people of goodwill before saying Republicans only love the law enforcement when they are going after black or brown people. This is one of the most racist, disgraceful people that I have ever seen in my life. And this is what I'm calling a hood rat. And I'm not calling her a hood rat because she's black, because there's white hood rats. Anybody who comes from a bad neighborhood who talks stupidity like this, you're a hood rat. Okay. That's exactly what you are. Check out Jasmine Crockett. And this is why when they call Donald Trump a racist and all these other things, these people are just throwing stupidity out there. What I want to hear is all the things that we just talked about. What are you and your party going to do to make healthcare better for everyone in this country? What are you going to do better to make prices come down? Because all I'm hearing from you is Trump bad, Trump bad, Trump bad. And I've been hearing that same rinse and repeat talk for how many years now? Ever since 2015. That's 10 years of consistent rinse and repeat, or repeat and rinse. Same thing, vice versa. Check her out.
I refuse to be a puppet because Democrats tend to be of goodwill. We always want to do the right thing. We are always trying to follow the rules and follow the law. Unfortunately, we are living with an administration that does not care. We just want some type of parity. You only care about following the rules so long as you can invoke those rules on what is typically perceived as your political enemies. This is why we are falling apart in this country. We are supposed to be about checks and balances. It should not matter whether or not you're associated with the Democratic Party, the Republican Party, independent, or whomever, whether you're rich, whether you're poor, whether you're middle class, whether you're a black immigrant or whatever. But it seems like we only have a political agenda in this committee, and that's why everything goes off the rails. You only love law enforcement when they're going after black, brown, immigrants, that kind of folk, right?
That kind of folk. No, you know what? I'm for ICE and any other law enforcement. And I've said this before as well. There is bad in every profession. There are bad cops out there. There's bad ICE agents out there. There's bad Homeland Security officers out there, and male and female. But on average, we're talking, it would be like comparing the corrupt, bad law enforcement to how many real transgender people are in this country. A very small percentage, but they are out there. And if they're out there, I want them brought to justice. But we're not after, well, I say we, but they are not after brown and black people and, just because of the skin color. They're after people who break the law, people who are here illegally. We talked about this on the last couple shows. You can't avoid this. They keep saying that people are getting caught up in this, American citizens. And we heard him talking about it on the 5 tonight. Jessica Tarloff was on there. And I think Tyrus and Jesse and Martha McCollum and what's the other guy's name from New York, the ex-cop? Paul Morrow.
Yeah.
Anyway, he has some good things to say too. They always do, some of them. But anyway, the bottom line here is that these people, I'm trying to find out, or I'm trying to find a way in my mind to explain how the Socialist Democrats run their mouths so much and saying that we're racist and we're all these other things, and we're really not. They want to protect the illegals. They want to say that people are, as I was saying, they want to get caught up in, or other Americans are getting caught up in this, and they're really not. And I think the point was brought up tonight was that, okay, well, show your ID, just be calm. Let's just say I got pulled over and they said, hey, or let me see your papers, or, cause they're looking for somebody. And I would say, okay, well, here's my ID and here's my license and registration, my insurance and all that stuff in my vehicle. And stay calm and cool. The first thing I'm not going to do is run. I'm definitely not going to run because, well, why did he run? I mean, does he got drugs on him? Did he do something illegal? Is he a bad guy? Is he here illegally? We don't know. So now we're going after him. And that's what the Democrats and all them want you to believe. Harold Ford wants you to believe that people are getting drug up into this. Jessica Tarloff is constantly talking about this, and it's not happening. These are all lies. The big one that was just brought up that everybody was talking about, and I'm sure you all saw that, the 5-year-old who was left behind by his father. They said that ICE used him as bait to get his father, and that they snatched him up and took him into custody as well. And when the truth was told, and it finally came out because everyone wanted to run to the camera, it ended up being that daddy took off and ran and left his child there. That's how good of a father he was. ICE took his child so that naturally he wouldn't be out in the cold in Minneapolis because it was freezing, and he's not going to leave him there. So didn't they even say they took him to lunch?
Yeah, they
took the kid to lunch. They spent time with him because they're fathers, or they know someone who are family, that have families.
But that's not the story Jessica heard, so that's clearly not the truth.
Exactly. And she's another one. I hate to even say this, but I want to just smack her because they talk this stupidity because they hate Donald Trump so much that it makes them look so asinine. They do this to themselves. Rinse and repeat over and over again. This is what they do. So instead of waiting for the facts to come out, they jumped on this right away. Just like they jumped on Good when she got shot and unfortunately lost her life. If she would have just sat still and listened to what they said, the worst case scenario, they would have yanked her out of that SUV and got the dog out of there. She still would have been able to see her kid. She probably would have been locked up for a little bit of time, but she'd be free probably by now. And she wouldn't have got dead. Don't get dead. It's not worth it. But this is what we're dealing with. It's Americans are getting caught up into this. Well, prove it. From now on, when anyone from the socialist left or anyone else tries to tell you a bunch of nonsense that ICE is doing this and doing it, just say, show me the proof. Show me the proof. And don't give me this little clip where it shows him snatching up a boy off the street, because there was a whole bunch that happened before and probably a whole bunch that happened after. I want to see the whole clip, not just a little portion of that. Don't give me that Opus clip that you made.
That doesn't support their narrative.
Exactly, because, well, then people like me have to come out here and try to explain to everybody that these people are lying to you on a daily basis because they want you to believe what they're saying, because they truly believe you're stupid. And the one other thing I want to say before I move on about Jasmine Crockett, talking about the Republicans and how we must be white supremacist, racist, and all this other stuff, and that we only support ICE and other law enforcement when they're arresting people of color. Man, what have you done? What has your party done for anyone in the United States? And I'll just say black people. Let's take out the black people in America. What has changed for you since Democrats have been in power for many, many years in many, many cities across the nation, presidencies, they've controlled the House and the Senate, all of that stuff. What has really changed for you from the Democrats? I've said this before, and a lot of people might disagree with this, but they make sure that you get more welfare. But is that really what's best for you? Giving you more welfare? Shouldn't we be putting that money somewhere that's going to entice you to want to go out and get a job and to be a better person overall so that you can feel better about yourself? I remember I did a show like this. I talked about this very thing, talking about Donald Trump, because he started putting programs in his first administration up in Chicago and other places where the young black kids could go into community centers and play basketball and learn and get off the streets. Who wouldn't want that? So if we're racist, and I would say, hey, Trump, don't waste money on the black folk. Let them all kill themselves. That doesn't make any sense. That seems kind of contrary to what the popular belief is. No, we don't believe that. Trump doesn't believe that. Trump has more faith in you than your own Democratic Party does, because they're not doing a damn thing for you. But yet you're too stupid to see that, because your hatred has clouded your clear thinking. You can't see anything. You can't see past the forest because your hatred is so bad. You hate this man. But if they're going to put you on welfare, if they're going to give you all of these things, they're not helping you. Well, I could be wrong. They're helping you stay where you're at in life. They're keeping you down. And I know some people use this, and I don't really like to, but it's out there. They're trying to keep you on the plantation. Okay. I really don't like that kind of talk, but that's what they're doing. That party has been doing it year after year for decades. But yet here we are, and we're still talking, and they even represent You have black people within the Democratic Party who believe that the party is really doing what's best for their own people. And let's be honest, the Democrats aren't doing anything good for the white people either. And many of the Republicans aren't doing anything for either one of us. So, and that goes for Hispanics and Asians and everyone else. It's up to you, people. It's up to you, depending on what community you come from, what's your background, your culture. I don't care. It's up to you to better yourself. Don't depend on anybody to do anything for you, especially the government. You want to be something, be something. Michael Jordan, perfect example. One of the best and greatest basketball players ever, played for the Chicago Bulls. I don't know how many championships that guy won, 5, 7, whatever it was. From what I remember reading on this guy, he didn't even make a high school team. And he ended up being one of the best players of all. And as much as I despise this woman, I didn't say hate. I don't hate anybody. But as much as I despise what she spews, Oprah Winfrey, how did she become almost a billionaire in the United States of America as a black woman? And then she had the audacity to come out last week or something on The View, and she said obesity is from what?
Oh, good Lord. It was a word salad. It really was.
Yeah, it was a Kamala Harris moment.
Something about, was it addicted to food or?
Eating didn't make you obese. Oh, I don't know. I don't remember now. I shouldn't even went there because I didn't remember how she said it. But I mean, how did she, the whole point is, how did she become so rich in the United States of America if the United States of America hates black people so much? They come a long way, and deservedly so. They should be treated just like anyone else because they are people. We're all God's creation. It doesn't matter. Same thing with Barack Obama. How did he win 2 terms in a row in the racist United States of America? How did anybody that had black or dark skin end up being great, whether it was boxing, baseball, hockey, anything? Doesn't make any sense because it's not true. It's you, each individual, or as a group or a community that want to be under those restrictions. You yourself are putting yourself there because you don't want to get out of it. And again, like I said, welfare is not helping anybody. It's only helping someone if you see somebody down or they're struggling, they just lost a job. And there's nothing wrong with giving people food or money or helping them out. That's not what I'm talking about. But when you make it a lifestyle, you're not helping anyone in that community. It doesn't matter who they are, what color their skin is. You are not helping them. Okay. If they have a drug addiction, alcoholism, whatever it is, or they have a gambling, are you, even if it's family member, are you going to keep loaning them money because they keep falling behind on their rent and everything else and they can't afford to buy food for their family and their kids? But yet they're going to keep going and gambling it all away. No, you're not helping them by giving them money. The best thing you could do is go out and buy the food yourself and take it to the kids and the wife or whoever needs it and make sure that they eat. But you don't give them the money so that they can go out and do nefarious things with it, like we found out with the welfare. What do they call that? Where they get all these vouchers and stuff, and they're getting them under like 4 or 5 different states, and they're cashing them in and doing all kinds of things. They're making money off of this. So again, your party, the Democratic, the Socialist Democrats, are not doing anything for you. It's the same rinse and repeat. They're going to keep you locked down so that you feel that you can't better yourself and you can't do anything else. So then we got this bonehead moron. This guy here drives me crazy too. He's I just love when he talks. He's like, yeah, dime store Obama, Hakeem Jeffries. Check this out.
Well, ICE is completely and totally out of control. Donald Trump promised, with respect to immigration enforcement, that the administration was going to target violent felons who are here in the country illegally. That's something the American people support. The American people do not support the targeting, the arrest, the detention, the brutalization of American citizens. Certainly do not find acceptable the killing of Renee Nicole Good and the targeting of law-abiding immigrant families and communities.
Okay, so he's leaving a whole lot out there, okay? And here we go again. We're talking about someone who is constantly lying to your face about everything. One of the first things he says, he lies that they are not arresting violent criminals. Okay, it's not just the violent criminals that need to be out of our country. Okay. Do you believe that, I don't know if it was 10 million, 20 million, however many million people got into our country under the 4 years of the Biden administration? Let's just say 5 million of that 20 were violent criminals. Well, we got 5 million people to get rid of. We also have 15 million people who came here illegally, who we know nothing about because they weren't vetted. And do you think that it's because they're brown or maybe because they're black? No, I'm kind of worried about the brown people from the Middle East too, who kind of hate Christianity. They hate our Western way of life. I don't know who they are. They could be sleeper cells. They could be from any Middle Eastern country that just can't stand us. I mean, did we forget about 9/11? I really can't believe that we did, but maybe a lot of you guys did. But we have to worry about these kinds of people. And how many stories have we heard here recently with Dan Bongino and Kash Patel and others in the FBI who have broken up some of these plots that they were going to set bombs and stuff off in certain places and kill, lots of people. So this is going on. It's an ongoing thing every day in the United States of America since Biden has had opened up our borders. Now it's down to 0. That border is closed. When you ask the Trump administration, is that door closed? And they say yes, you better damn well believe that door's closed and it's locked and you're not getting through. It's got deadbolts and it's got all kinds of stuff on the other side. You're not coming in. You ask Biden and Mayorkas and Kamala Harris, the border czar, what do they say? That border is secured. That border is secured. There's nobody coming through. But oh my gosh, did you see that? One of those Border Patrol guys, he whooped a black person with a whip. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that wasn't true either. That was not true either. So that's the difference between knowing the truth and researching and finding out all of this stuff, is that when the Trump administration says something, whether you like it or not, he's pretty much telling you the truth. You ask the Biden administration, not so much. Now, the Department of Homeland Security is probably, from I think the last estimates I heard was roughly have arrested over 600,000 people. Criminal illegal aliens, 70% have been charged or convicted of a crime. 70% roughly of 600,000. Now, did they ever say that they were only going to go after the hardened criminals? No, because Hakeem Jeffries doesn't want to tell you the other part is that they don't want them to get rid of the other people because they are voters. And I know a lot of people don't see this. They don't believe it, but it's true. If they only want you to get rid of the hardened criminals, 20 million come in and let's say we're down to 14 million stay. And I'm just throwing numbers out there. And 14 million people stay, but yet they didn't commit any violent crimes. But what crime did they commit? They entered our country illegally. That's a crime. And Don Lemon says, well, a misdemeanor, that's not a crime. Well, it's a law. It's a misdemeanor. Yet to get a misdemeanor against you, that means you did something you weren't supposed to. It was against the law.
Technicality.
How can he be so racist and married to a white guy? I don't get that. What? Oh, anyway, disgusting. But I digress. This is what we're dealing with. So the reason they don't want all of these people out of our country is because what do you think is going to happen if they can get Trump to say, okay, we're only going to get rid of the hardened criminals? Then they got him in a sandbox. We're all playing in the sandbox and they're going to be like, what do you think they're going to say now? Okay, now we need to work on an immunity type thing. We need to keep 14 million people in this country, and they're going to bank on those 14 million people being socialist democratic voters. You see what I'm saying? And then they get these people to go into specific states. Well, how are they going to do that? Well, they're going to do exactly what New York's doing.
They're giving them free stuff.
Well, what happens when you give them free stuff? Your population goes up. You get more seats up in Washington, D.C. So you start moving them around. Chicago, J.B. Pritzker, he's going to say what? Oh, we're going to give you free stuff. Chicago's going to get more stuff. So they're going to move you out to California. And they're going to do all these blue states and blue cities. And then they start seeing, and then they get more seats, and then they get more power up in Washington, D.C. And this is how it all works. If you don't believe me, check research for yourself. This is what's going on. They want these people to stay here. We want them gone. They don't belong here. They don't deserve to be here. They need to go back to their country of origin and then come back in the right way. And I think Paul Morrow was saying that today on the 5, and I disagreed with him a little bit, and I like Paul. But he was saying that it would probably befit Trump more if he would just come out and do like a, over the internet, something where he would have like a webinar or something across the country and go ahead and swear a bunch of people in to be American citizens.
How fair is that to the people that have been waiting for years?
Well, I that too, but the whole point is that Paul's making the point that he thinks that Trump should do something like that to show that he's for legal immigration while he's trying to get rid of people. But where I disagree with him is that why does Trump have to prove anything? Trump shouldn't have to. Trump's proven himself just by the actions that he's taken. He hasn't done anything to make anyone believe that he wants to get rid of all the brown people or black people or any other people of color. And by the way, for those of you out there who keep saying people of color and you always leave the white people out, the last I remember and looked when I went through grade school, wasn't white a color? Wasn't a primary color? We're clear. Oh, so we're translucent. You can't see me. I'm camouflaged. So what you see is red, white, and blue and whatever's behind me, right? Yes, white people are a color. We're all people of color. So quit leaving the white people out. It's stupid. But this is exactly why they want these people to stay in our country. So Hakeem Jeffries doesn't want to tell you that. We all should know that. That's why they want millions and millions of illegals to stay in our country. There is no other reason for it. And let me wrap this little segment up by itself. It would be like me saying, I want to bring all of these people in to work for my business. What would be the first thing that came to my ex-business, since I sold, but if I was still had my own business, she still has hers, but let's just say her then. Let's just say Tammy wants to bring a bunch of illegals in from, let's say, Mexico. What would be the first thing that would pop into your head? Why does she want Mexicans to come up here? And this is my heritage, my dad's side. Why does she want Mexicans? You know what? They're going to work a lot harder for a lot less than American workers. They won't want to be union. They could care less. They'll do anything you ask them to do. They'll do roofing. They'll do siding. They build things. They'll pick fruit, vegetables, whatever it is that you want them to do. They'll help out on the farm. They're hard workers. I've said this just recently, a crew that did my siding. They were a whole Mexican crew and all from Mexico. But why do you think they did that? Because they pay them a whole lot less. They save money as a company. And that's another reason why they want a lot of these people in the country, so that they can pay them cheaper wages. So I guess the point I'm making is, do you really care about people when you want to bring them into our country and use them and pay them a lot less? Do you not think the Democratic Party and the Republicans, for that matter, they all know it? It's not a secret. They know that they're making way less than the average American, citizen is when they go out to a job or get a union job at Chrysler or Ford or wherever. Those Mexicans are better off, getting going through the proper channels and becoming a citizen and come over here and they can make money just like we do. So again, they want all of this stuff for a reason, and that is to get more seats, get more political power. And if you really think that they care about you, whether you're white or black, here we go again. It doesn't matter. Republicans are the same way. They're just the lesser of the evils. And then you have the Democrats, the socialists now that have taken over the party, the old Democratic Party. For all those old timers out there, they're going to start retiring now, and we're never going to see that party again. But they're taking over. They don't care about you either. So, and I'll end it here for the black people and the white people in our country who keep saying that nothing has changed and you're mad at government. Stop and think about what you're saying. Truly think about that statement. You're not happy with the government. You've been through Republican presidents. You've been through Democratic presidents. You've been through Republican-controlled House and Senate. You've been through Democratic House and controlled Senates. And you're still complaining. What does that tell you? I didn't say that. I'm just throwing it out there for you to think about. You make up your own mind. If you're still saying the same thing, then they have done nothing for you. So who are you voting for? And why are you voting for them? That's a lot to take in when you really, really break it down and think about it. They're going to promise you the world, and they're giving you jack squat. Nada. So there you go. All right. Real quick here. Real quick clip. Democratic Rep. Jason Crow says he's going to tell us what his 3 priorities are. And again, rinse and repeat. Number 1, impeaching President Trump. Boom. So we already know. I told you guys this before we took our big 5-month hiatus. The midterms are coming up this year. If we don't show up and vote, and history repeats itself like it always does in the midterms, whoever's in presidency, whether it's a Democrat, usually the Republicans do better. They gain seats. And we know how that goes. Now that Trump's in office, the Democrats historically probably will gain seats and we'll lose control, which means we're going to have a lame duck presidency for the last 2 years. Nothing's going to get done. This is going to be a joke. And then they're going to impeach for nothing. They're going to impeach because there's peaches that grow in Georgia. I don't know. Number 2, invoking the 25th Amendment to remove President Trump. Number 3, win elections and take power away from President Trump. Really, take power away from the people. But check this out.
This president is a danger to this country and this democracy. So what I'm doing is I'm looking at all options. All of our options must be on the table, from impeachment, the 25th Amendment, to winning elections, which is actually my primary goal right now as the recruitment chair for House Democrats, is to win elections and to take power away from Donald Trump.
Yeah. And like I said before, the Democratic Party does not care about the American people. If you think that they do, you're only kidding yourself. And you're just too stupid to realize it. And as I said, you're too lazy to go research and find out. And I know it's a hard fact to swallow. It's really nasty medicine, but sometimes you have to take it to get better. But when you wake up and realize that none of these people in Washington are truly there for you, and I don't care if it's Thomas Massey of Kentucky, I'm tired of hearing about him. They're all the same, okay? They all have their quirks. They're all just like you and me. They just happen to be up in Washington, D.C., and they got into politics. Does it make them better than you or me? No. Some of them are lawyers. Some of them are doctors. Some of them are whatever. They're all kinds of fields. Law enforcement, ex-military, doesn't matter. Do you really think they're better than you? No. They're just like you and me, everyday people. They just maybe got more of an education and they did something with their lives. Doesn't make them any better than any of us. And when they go to Washington, they're supposed to serve us, not tell us what they're going to do with our money. We got this all backwards, and we allow this day after day, year after year, decade after decade, century after century. 250 years, and we're still complaining about taxes when that's one of the reasons, besides religious freedom, that we left and came across the pond to this country that we stole. We're on stolen land. Whew, that's a whole nother show. But anyway, all right, I got one last thing and then we'll talk a little bit and we're going to wrap it up. All right, so this one here is, I love this guy. This guy here on CNN, of all people, he's telling it like it is, and man, they don't like it. I'm going to let him say it because the way he says it, I'm not going to do it any justice, but he's going to tell you what people are thinking about the Democratic Party nowadays. Check it out. Again, CNN.
How are voters feeling about Democrats right now?
Yeah, I mean, Democrats in the minds of the American public are lower than the Dead Sea. What are we talking about here? Well, let's take a look. The net approval rating for Democrats in Congress, you said it, Kate Baldwin, the lowest ever. Look at this. Overall, they are 55 points underwater. Their approval rating is south of 20%. It's even worse when you look at independents. Look at this. Negative 61 points. That means that their approval rating is 61 points lower than their disapproval rating. Quinnipiac has been polling this question for the better part of the 21st century. They have never found Democrats, at least those in Congress, in worse shape than they are right now.
Well, I can guarantee you one thing: he's not married to Jessica Tarlow because her polls say something totally different.
Yeah.
But Harrington, I think his name is. But I love listening to this guy because he tells it like it is, and the Democratic Party is in peril. But the scary part about it is, even when they're not doing well, the history always, for whatever reason, it does this. It's almost like, and I know it's not this way, but well, I guess it could be, but it's almost like I can't remember if it was Jason and the Argonauts. It was an old black and white movie, which was like Greek mythology and stuff, and it showed these gods up in the clouds that were sitting around, messing around with like a chessboard and moving people around and doing different things. So it almost makes me think that God's like, okay, well, the Republicans been in charge for 4 years. Guess what? We're going to get you guys in the midterms. We're going to inject about 4 or 5 of these Democrats in here, and we're going to just watch chaos happen. And because that's what normally happens in midterms, that whoever's in control of the House, the Senate, and the White House, it's usually the opposite party that picks up the extra seats, and then the other party in the White House loses power, which you get a lame duck president. Again, like I said, for the last 2 years, Trump won't get hardly anything done. But and the Republicans won't do anything right now because we have so many rhinos out there, and a lot of people who, there's a lot of people who are in Washington who should just go home because, literally, they could just fall over dead at any moment. Half the time they're stroking out or something. And I'm not making fun of them. I'm being totally honest. They're so old and have been there for 40 plus years. It's time to go home and just ride off or wheel yourself off into the sunset. But, and that's where we're at now. But I don't know what's going to happen in midterms. The only thing I can say is that if you're, like I said earlier, if you're banking on foreign policy, it's not going to do the trick for Trump. We're going to have to show up in large numbers like we did this last election for the presidency during the midterms, and we have to do it again in 2028. So that's one of the things that we have to do is Republicans, independents, we have to pick up as many people as we can, and everyone has to get out and vote. And we got to push and talk about this stuff. So I'm going to go over into the comments now. And yeah, Clash of the Titans. Maybe that was it, Monk. You probably remember what I was talking about, but that's what it reminds me of. It's almost like somebody's got their hands in it, and they're like a puppet, and they're just moving people around saying, aha, check this out. It's kind of crazy. Yeah. And I had reached out to you, RC. I sent him a private message in the chat in X. And I said, man, I saw that list. What was it? Spanberger or something her name is. But anyway, your new governor. And I was like, wow. And I know that a lot of that stuff isn't, turned into law yet. But what if some of that stuff does happen? And it's kind of scary when you think about it. And because I remember sending him, I was like, what happened to Virginia, dude? That would be like, if something like that happened here in Missouri, I would be dumbfounded. The last time we had somebody who was kind of out there was Claire McCaskill. That gal, she's the next coming of Hillary Clinton in my book. Whenever I see Claire McCaskill, I think of Hillary Clinton, and I don't like either one of them. But Claire was our governor for a little bit, and man, she's always got her mouth running, and she's always in the background yapping away about stuff, and she's irrelevant. She should just go, again, one of those right off into sunset and just stay out of politics. Nobody wants to hear from you here in the state of Missouri, nor anywhere else in the country, because most people don't even know who the hell you are. Lou, I think we have to do what we did in the presidential election. This is from Joe. Indiana, make sure there are lawyers at the main polling stations and monitor the mailboxes that countered what happened in 2020. Yeah, I think we will have a lot of people. I know that there are a lot of people out there that are talking about this already. And it'll be one of those things where the more time and effort we put into these polling places, like you're saying, Joe, it will benefit us and help. But I do know that they're still fighting the ID, the SAVE Act, and all of that. And I do not understand this. It's another one of those ways where don't listen to the words and don't pay attention to anything else except for the votes. and what they do, their actions, because for anyone, Democrat or Republican, who votes no against voter ID has an ulterior motive, period. There's no other reason, no other excuse for it, because it would be way too easy if all you're going to do is come back and tell me and think I'm stupid enough to say, well, a lot of people, they can't get an ID. I saw, and I can't remember what account it was, but it was a black woman, and she goes, she was going off on somebody. It was Spice. Laverne Spicer or whatever. I don't know. But anyway, she was going off on another black person saying, I'm black. And now all the black people I know have IDs and licenses and all this stuff. So I'm not stupid enough to think that there's that many people out there that can't get an ID or that we can't come up with a solution. That's all we ask for. Okay. So I can guarantee you that every Democrat, every independent, no matter what party affiliation you have, down deep inside, you want to know that if anything that you do, whether it's a business or a school board, you want to know your bank accounts, you want to know that the right people who are supposed to be in these places are in those places. I know they feel that way. And the only reason they fight against it is because they have ulterior motives where they want to use that to their favor. And that is how you tell the truth tellers from the liars. Again, it's all about action. Everyone should be on the same page with this. If I was a Democrat, and I used to be, my dad was Democrat, but again, old school Democrat, because he was a union member back in the day, as I was. But nobody wants anyone to come into our country and to be able to vote or go to a voting place, which is a privilege and a right to be able to go and vote for who we want to serve us, whether it's state, local, communities, whatever, Washington, D.C., federal. That is something that we take and should take very seriously. So again, everyone should be on the same page with that. And for anyone who says no, they're against it, you need to ask them why. You need to confront them, because we all know the true reason why. It's crazy. So Karen said, in many of our stores in Massachusetts, the overhead announcements are in Spanish. That's 100% prejudiced against the English-speaking Americans. Yeah, that's pretty crazy, Karen. Excuse me. And I'm noticing a lot of that here in Missouri too. We've seen, and I think it's across the country now, that there's so many Spanish-speaking people who didn't assimilate and learn our language as well, that you call up something and they put you on hold, and the first thing you hear is Spanish, and then they know if you don't respond to it, then it's an English speaker. So you get that on phone calls. You see all these things come through the mail. It's in Spanish on one side and English on the other. It's pretty much going to all of that, and that's we're not a Spanish-speaking nation, plain and simple. So yeah, that would drive me insane. And we have to probably, I would say, Bud Light people like this when it comes to Targets, telling ICE that they can't come in, or some of these speedway places, the gas stations, that ICE can't come in and get snacks or drinks or use the restrooms. If somebody does something like that, number one, it should be a public. If you make it a public restroom in your speedway, maybe you can do that legally. I'm not so sure that is legal, but even if it is, then we Bud Light you and we put a big hurting on Speedway. And I think that's the American way. I'm not a real big boycott type person, but if it comes down to it and you want to do something stupid, then I don't have to watch your shows. I don't have to watch your movies. I don't have to go to the theater and spend money to watch you. Nothing. I can choose to say, you know what? I don't care for your politics. I'm not going to watch you anymore. And I've done that, whether it's sports or certain shows that I used to like. I used to love Law and Order with Mariska Hargitay or whatever. I used to love that when I was younger. And now all the guys are bad and she's real political. I won't even watch the show anymore. I don't want to see that nonsense. I just want to see a show. And then a Special Victims Unit.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other one with Christopher Maloney. I've been watching him for years and love him. And now he's getting into the political, and I don't want to watch him anymore. So, I mean, I hate to be that way. I read every Stephen King book that the guy ever wrote, because when I was growing up, I just read all of his books. I mean, one after the other. And the guy's a far out there socialist lunatic now, but he's a hell of a writer. He's creepy, but he writes. He's got great books. And it drives me insane that now I don't want to read anything that he ever writes again. So I don't know, drives me nuts. All right, what else we got in here? I know I'm missing a bunch of stuff. I am Lou. Money talks, and if folks would stick by their guns and practice what they preach, many things could be changed. Money is a powerful tool that can work for good and as well as evil. It's a private building open to the public. They can be thrown out the store, just not off the public parking lot. Yeah, that's what I figured. But I mean, maybe if it's not a franchise and it's locally, just local people doing that, maybe, Speedway corporate headquarters comes out and says, this is no bueno. We gotta reverse this. I would hope that something like that would happen, type situation, but who knows? You never know what's going to happen. Karen also said, compare it to the woman bakery owner that was sued by the lesbian couple for not making them a wedding cake. Yeah. Good point. Very good point. Monk said if they are legally born in this country, they can show a birth certificate with the seal along with social security number if they don't have ID. Yeah, I mean, there's so many different ways they could do this. Again, the only reason you would be for this in any way or form is because, as I said, it would be an ulterior motive. You have something that you're trying to gain from it. Because any logical person would want this. I want to know who's coming in and out of my home, who has access to my bank accounts, all of these types of things. And I think we would all feel that way. I'm just going back to here, making sure I didn't miss anything. Did I miss anything big? I was trying to go through all these because I don't have the luxury of sitting here and reading. She gets to read all of your stuff and she doesn't interrupt me and say if I miss something good. So,
if it's really good, I interrupt.
Don Lemon lemonades. Huh? That's nasty. Kiss your mama with that mouth. What? I'm going way back. I guess I better. I don't know who. I guess he's talking to Randy. I don't know. Oh my goodness! But like I said, it's one of those things where we're just gonna have to show up when the polls open and get as many Republicans out there as we possibly can. And don't forget, by the way, if you're a Dan Bongino fan and you're part of the Bongino army,
just where I squeal and scare the hell out of you again.
No, you're not going to this time because I'm prepared. Is it February 2nd?
February 2nd,
Monday, his first show back from the FBI, and it ought to be fire. We'll see what happens, and I'll be watching. And wait, Tammy, they're all good.
We'd never get a show done if I called him over for every single comment.
I promise you, RC, I'll send you. I gotta scroll through my phone here, and I'll find some pictures of Blute to send to you. But he was a beautiful, beautiful dog. Best dog I ever had. I don't think I'll ever have another one like him. So, but yeah. By the way, it is 3 degrees right now. And it's what it's saying. It's saying light snow, but it says tomorrow underneath. I'm looking at the bottom of my screen.
There's flurries out there. There's nothing.
Yeah.
The first wave that's going to hit is supposed to be some flurries, maybe some accumulation, 1 to 3 inches in spots.
Yeah.
Then it's going to tease us all and make it seem like it's stopping. And then it's going to apparently hit us like the Dickens tomorrow night while we're sleeping. It's going to dump snow.
Yeah, I don't know what models you're seeing, but I think the Euro and there's 2 other ones, whatever they call them. They're all starting to come together, and we're right in that swath through central Missouri, coming up out of Oklahoma. That looks like anywhere from
7 to 11,
and a little bit north of us in northern Missouri.
Less.
Where's the 14? South?
South.
Okay. So it would be a little bit south of us. They're
Half
talking
a county under us.
yeah. So they're looking at 14. So we're somewhere between 14 and 8. I mean, we're going to get hit. We're in that large swath area. It just depends on how far north or how far south it goes. And then it looks like, I don't know what it's looking like for you, Joe, over in your part of Indiana. You might be part of that heavy swath that's going to come up out of Missouri. But they're talking that it's going to be so bad that there's probably going to be a lot of people just shut down for 2 or 3 days.
It's not even fun snow that I can
No,
go
it's
play
very
in.
dry snow, and that can be the worst. And the other thing too is that it's going to be so cold for, I don't know, several days after. It's not going anywhere until like the beginning of February, and then it's going to start warming up again. So we could be upwards of 8. I did see that, Karen. I was watching, but here's the bad thing about I've heard of this twice now in the past week, that once the storm goes through, correct me if I'm wrong, but I there was a storm that just went through a week ago or this past week, and then this one here, it's going to come up the eastern seaboard or up to the northeast, and then once it hits you, it's going to do something offshore, and the backspin is going to get you guys again. And I'm like, wow, that's got to really suck to kind of get that backflow on that as well. So it's almost like you're getting a double whammy. But yeah, I saw that on the Weather Channel, or I don't know if it was my radar. Somebody was talking about it on a video. Maybe it was Fox News. I don't know. But I was seeing that and I go, wow, up there in New England, they could literally get hit with the backside too. And it's just going to dump a ton of snow on them. So, and I think that's what she's probably talking about. RC said we are projected 5 to 10. Look at them Jersey boys and girls, 8 to 2. Isn't it like 2 to? Oh wait, I'm sorry.
8 inches.
I know. I almost made fun of him because I thought he put it backwards, and then I looked and I go, "Oh no, that's a foot mark, not an inch." I'm sorry, Monk. Don't throw at me. But oh man, you guys get 2 foot. We haven't had that since like 1982 or 83. We got like 2 foot of
82.
snow here. And that was the year we weren't supposed to. They said it wasn't going to do anything.
Yeah, we had thunder snow.
Oh yeah, and now they're talking thunder ice and thunder sleet
Down south.
Oh yeah.
Oh, they can have it.
Yeah, and they're talking like an inch of accumulation of ice. If they get hit with an inch, that, like I said
Power
earlier,
outages galore.
that's catastrophic. It doesn't take much ice to just wipe out power lines and
That's crazy.
and shut everything down. I mean, you can't do anything about it. And we are getting nothing. You all complain about the snow and ice, but don't know what it's like working 25 hours straight. So you all can pick up dinner. You all are welcome. Well, I beg your pardon. I used to run a snowplow.
Yes, you did.
Yep. I know exactly what you're talking about. And I know what it's like to be out there shift after shift, pushing stuff, running those gang plows and all of that and throwing rooster tails. So yeah, I know a little bit about something. And I used to make the brine, and we would have to put the thermometer in there to make sure everything was just right so that we could do the hot loads and go out when it was so cold and melt the ice, because that's the only way you can melt the ice off the highway. Yeah, I'm not dyslexic. Knock it off. Randy, you whine, bro. Oh, yeah, well, I've been there. I've done that stuff. So, and I actually thought it was fun. So I get in there and turn the heat on and just go to town and push stuff off the road and had a blast. But yeah, it's, I mean, here lately, we haven't had that bad of weather in Missouri. Not like we had years ago. It seems, I don't know, it seems like we have more better winters than we do bad winters anymore. And I think it's just the way things are. We were in the 40s, almost 50 degrees, and then at the bottom just dropped out, yesterday?
Yeah.
So, and literally the people who did my siding and my roof, they were here doing because the guy who came here and set this all up, he totally forgot the fascia and the soffit and everything. So they had to come back and do it last. They almost got the whole house finished, and the south side of the house still isn't finished. And we're going to get the storm, which it's not going to hurt anything up there, but they'll probably be back around the first of the year because we're going to be back in the 40s, close to 50 again, or first of the month rather. So yeah, I'm talking like it's January. But so that's what's been going on here, because I've been going outside with them every day, watching, making sure they're doing everything that they're supposed to be doing. They've been cutting the aluminum sheets, and oh my gosh. And then today, like I said, I went outside because we got this new ceiling light, and we put a blue bulb in it because we got blue lights on both sides of our garage, and we got one overhead going into the front of the house to support police officers, back to blue. I've always done that. But anyway, I put that new light up today, and I was up on the ladder, and we'd be out there for
5 minutes tops.
If 5 minutes, and my hand was so cold I couldn't even close it, and it hurt.
Yep.
And,
I've never experienced that kind of cold on bare skin before.
And I had a propane heater going in the garage, and I was like, wow.
It kept telling you no. It was like,
yeah, it didn't even want to run. And I finally got it going, and it was I put a conveyor belts for FedEx, and incomplete buildings, no roof, just half built walls and floors. So worked in the rain, snow, hurricane, lightning storm, and did for 7 years.
Oh my gosh.
Dude, I had a skid loader with no heat and no enclosure for the first 15 years. Nobody knows. Well, that's your fault, dude. What did you do that for? I wouldn't work for anybody that didn't give me heat if it got cold. You give me heat, or you come out here and do it yourself. That's what I would have told them. 51 in Virginia today. Woo! My husband says he misses plowing too. It lets grown. It does. It does. I believe his name's Robert, isn't it? Let me know. I'm pretty sure her husband's name's Robert. Bobby, I don't know. I forgot what she told me before. But anyway, yes, it is fun, especially when we throw those rooster tails, because we get to go down there, and well, of course you got to be careful, because if you're running the inside lane, the fast lane, you can't throw it up over the, into the oncoming traffic on the other way. Cause I think some of the highways that I was on, you only had like a concrete barrier that's only a couple foot high. And if you're running the fast lane, you're the lead plow and the gang plow. And, if you're pushing it up against the wall, you have to go slow enough to where you're not hitting people's windshields and taking them out and causing accidents.
Yeah, well, not everybody's that considerate. I don't know how many times I got hit with one of those.
Yeah. Yep. It was cheap, and I got paid $20 is $20. I don't know, I guess. But anyway, yeah, we're hoping. All right, we're gonna hunker down for the next few days. We're supposed to get hit pretty hard. If we get what they're saying, it will be biggest snowfall in 21 years. Good show, Lou. Tammy, be safe. Yeah, you too, Joe. Tell Rhonda we said hello.
He had a birthday yesterday.
Who?
Joe did.
Joe, what are you? 41? 70? He's not that old.
That's what he says.
No.
Yeah.
Joe's fooling with y'all. Joe's not that old. No way. But anyway, happy birthday. Happy belated birthday, Joe. But yeah, everybody be safe out there. And we're hunkered down. We got our food. We got everything done. Not going out unless we have to. We'll see what time the snow gets here, whether it's tomorrow or not. I'm going to be watching football games, and I'm going to be watching MMA fights tomorrow. So I'm in for the sports, and I'm done. So
it's not very often that our local Walmart turns into a touristy Walmart.
Yeah.
But boy, when there's the threat of 9 inches of snow, everybody and their brother loses their mind. It was like being in Florida's Walmart. Yeah.
Yeah, Destin is
it
horrible.
Was crazy. People doing like 90 with carts. I'm like, dude, it's not that it ain't worth all that.
Yeah, I remembered. I'm so proud of myself, Bobby. I said Robert because I had an uncle, Robert, and they called him Bobby too. So yeah, all right, cool. I did remember. Yay, Lou. Yay, me. But anyway, all right, everyone. I'm gonna go rest up. I tell you what, that cold took a lot out of me. We put up our new cameras today too. So
yeah,
we got all this. It's actually black, so it shows you I'm not racist.
Oh,
we got black fascia and black soffit, and we got this new siding. It's Wedgwood blue, and we had like a beigeish color.
Yeah, it was almost a very, very soft yellow, almost beige, very light.
And we went with a Wedgwood blue and black trim.
I got to pick it out.
Yeah, she did. It was all her. Downspouts, new guttering, and all that. And that black accents, that blue, it's gorgeous. And then with those blue bulbs at night, and then we put the cameras up, and we got these bird boxes. I don't know if you guys know what a bird box is on a house where the peaks come down, and they got boxes, right down on each at the end of each peak. Well, anyway, we got 9 of them here on the house, and I'm putting the cameras up on those. And I went with the white cameras on the black fascia, and it looks really, really sharp. So we got new cameras up too, so we can, watch everybody doing bad things and stuff like that. So be prepared. Everyone's buying water, melt snow. Yeah, I hate putting salt down because it gets tracked into the house. And that's another bad thing too about putting all that stuff down on the roads. It actually will eat your rockers off your vehicles and get everything, your wheel wells and all that rusting out. It's pretty bad. So apparently most Americans don't know how fire works. Actually, is gorgeous color combo, very classy. I don't know about classy, but it's sharp. I will say this much. Everybody who's seen it has said they can see it from a distance, that it really stands out. And I would have never thunk it because I'm just not that guy. She's the match when it comes to colors and all of that stuff. So she picked those out. And I think the weird part about it was it would have been thousands of dollars more just for the
premium
blue,
Wedgwood type blue.
Yeah,
it was a deeper
darker
color.
color.
Yeah.
So.
And I was like, you know what? I'm going with a little bit lighter blue, and I'm thrilled with it.
Yeah,
it looks really good.
Wow. Yeah. So I mean, I got a Chevy and a Ford and a Jeep. I guess I'm a jack of all. What else do I need? I need to get a couple different ones. Karen says she went through a car wash yesterday, and I wasn't alone. The weather was probably nice there yesterday, I'm guessing.
Oh, never mind. I was like, was there a creeper in the car with you? Somebody sneaking in the car wash? What do you mean you weren't alone? Wow. Oh my gosh.
But anyway, all right, everyone, we're going to wrap it up. We're going to go upstairs and spend some time with the kids before we chase them off. And then they'll go in their rooms and they'll all read for an hour and a half. And that's how they end their evenings, reading books so that they can be more edumacated. Yeah. Now they're trying to educate us, which in some cases they do actually. So, it's fun, but stay warm, stay off the roads if you don't have to be, if it gets too bad. RC, like I said, I'll send you pictures of that dog. Give me a few minutes. You'll have them coming over there to the East Coast. And I'm sorry, I missed your wife saying hello, but she was calling it a night already, Monk. So make sure you pass on that I said hello to her as well. And as always, gotta love her. Angels on your pillows, friends. And love hearing Karen say that. So, all right, everyone, all the birthday wishes has been put out there. Stay warm, stay dry, stay safe. We'll see you next Friday. And who knows, maybe we'll do a second show at some point. But right now, every Friday seems to be working for us because we still have a lot going on. So take care. Good night. God bless each and every one of you. And God bless this great country we call the United States of America. Take care, my friends. Good night.